Hi, welcome to our podcast, Luxury Space Gay Communists, I guess. Me and Variola and June today. We're going to be talking about a recent study about racial bias and discrimination in the rental housing market in the US, and then the Russian situation going on in Ukraine. So, who wants to talk first?
Well, good morning, everyone. I guess would you want to summarize summarize the study for everyone?
Depending, let me find it real quick. Oh, okay, so they used a bot to send in applications for different rentals across the U.S. in different cities, based on like white names, Hispanic names, and black names, to see who's more likely to get responses back. The bot found names that are perceived to be white got 5.6 percentage points more than black-sounding names and 2.8 percentage more than Hispanic-sounding names. They sent fake renters to 8,476 property managers and 50 of the largest U.S. metropolitan housing markets. Okay, it's not just the city; it's the whole metropolitan area.
Okay. What are some of the most racist cities again?
The most racist city for black people is Chicago. For Hispanics, Louisville, Kentucky. Chicago's kind of weird because like Chicago's like majority black. Well, it includes the metropolitan area, so that makes sense. So it's not just the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I think Chicago's super segregated, from what I've heard. Yeah, then so for top 5 most racist against black, Chicago number 1, LA 2, Louisville 3, Minneapolis 4, Virginia Beach 5, and San Francisco number 6. And for Hispanic people, it's Louisville number 1, Houston 2, Providence, Rhode Island 3, Cincinnati 4. Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts 5.
Then you got I'm surprised Rhode Island's on there, but I guess they also don't have a lot of Hispanics in Rhode Island, maybe.
Yeah, I think in the Northeast you find a lot more Puerto Ricans up here. There's a lot of like anti-Puerto Rican.
Well, there's Hispanics too, but they'd still.
Yeah.
I still think it's funny that Louisville is number 1 in Hispanics and number 3 in black discrimination.
Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's like I would say that you'd see the legacy of racism in like the South through here, but no, you really see it's kind of like pretty across the board in the U.S. and like liberal cities, conservative cities, you find discrimination in rentals. Very sneaky tendency.
With the black ones, you can see the more like cities with historical racial issues, like stuff in the South, like Virginia Beach, Tennessee, and even I think LA still had like fucking LA is full of Nazis and Ku Klux Klan members in the fucking police, so that's not surprising at all.
Yeah. And then on the Hispanic side, you find a good bit of liberal cities.
I'm surprised. Oh, Houston's really high up there.
Yeah.
And then Boston,
Yeah. Boston, you got their racist cops too. You got Seattle, Buffalo, Hartford up there.
They're all higher than fucking Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
What's interesting on the black side is like a lot of the southern cities are pretty low, or like well, not really low, but in the middle. Then at the bottom you have Jacksonville. New Orleans is number 3, like the least. Columbus. Then you have Jacksonville, Florida is the least racist. Then you have Columbus. Then you have New Orleans. Then Phoenix. Then you have Austin and Tampa.
Jacksonville surprises me being on the bottom, having been to Jacksonville.
Maybe there's just too many black people and they need the money to rent out.
I can't even tell, but let me look up what percent black Jacksonville is Johnson?
Then Phoenix, you have. Then on the Hispanic side, you have Phoenix at the very bottom, Sacramento, Tampa, Detroit again, and then Milwaukee, then Dallas. There's like no pattern to this whatsoever, which is interesting.
Yeah. But it's significant nonetheless. I think New York is relatively high on both sides, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the
it's way higher on the black side than the Hispanic. What?
What's the least racist city?
Oh, the least racist city for black people is Jacksonville, Phoenix, Arizona for Hispanics. I live in Phoenix. There's
But
a
you're
lot of
the first.
Hispanics. What?
The Phoenix is racist as hell for Hispanics.
Yeah, but there's so many Hispanics here, you can't not rent to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and according to the study, Phoenix would be the least racist city in America.
Well, at least we got something going for us.
DC is relatively better as well. Yeah, I mean, this is sad. I mean, considering that we're in like a houselessness crisis in the U.S. right now, and rental keeps going up and up. I hear so many horror stories of because usually when you are looking for a place, you have to fill like a rental application, and people are spending like hundreds of dollars on these applications, especially like black families, and then getting not approved for these houses.
Yeah, it's terrible because the rental, like just paying for the application fee and like the background check and like all that shit is a couple $100.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And I mean, I just know like one family where it's like they're not getting approved for any place. They actually live in Arizona and they're not getting approved for anywhere. So it's like, and these places would be like what, maybe like $1,000 rent a month. Now they have to live in like an
one
Airbnb
bedroom too, because these are like in the metropolitan areas, so the shit's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. But now I know they're living in an Airbnb now, the family, and it's like $2,500 a week now to live in an Airbnb. Yeah, because
insane.
I know, because they can't get any of these, like, you can't get approved for any rentals. So it's a fucked up system.
There's more. There's also another study, by Georgia State that the net level discrimination is 4.5% against African American sounding names, and then in Sweden, discrimination against Muslims on a rental website from an audit study was 24.8% bias favoring Swedish male names compared to Muslim male names.
What's the answer? Should we take names off applications?
But like, that's a good question. Like, I really don't know because like,
yeah.
What you gonna say? Because like, you need what?
You come there and they see you, they're not going to discriminate against you.
They still might. I've heard stories with Airbnbs when they actually see the black person, they tell them no and like send them away.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's so bad. I mean, I think even my name. I have a Westernish name, but I think my parents decided on it like for this reason because they knew about like jobs and shit.
My mom named me Kyle for this very reason.
Yeah.
And there's also another part where so blacks were told about a 11.4% fewer units, shown only a 4.2% fewer units. Hispanics were told about 12.5% fewer units, shown 7.5% fewer units. Asians were shown 9.8 fewer units, and told about 9.8 fewer units, then shown 6.6 fewer units. It's a chart from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, showing black and Hispanic Asian renters are told about and shown available units than equally qualified whites.
Jesus.
Surprised the Asian... Black people are the least discriminated when it's come to shown the units.
Really? What was so? You said black people was like 4% less?
Yeah, 4% less.
And Asian people, that's interesting.
Yeah, but Asians are told more likely told about more apartments though, but they're showing less.
Yeah, the only thing I could make, this is just speculation, but maybe my guess would be because I feel like on average, Asian people are in they're the highest wealth bracket, right? Like
Yeah,
demographically. So maybe it's like Asian people are applying to places in more white neighborhoods than black people are, and would
true.
face more discrimination. Would be my guess. I have no idea.
Variola from Europe. What do you think about the Swedish study about Muslim names?
I know there was a German study about Turkish names that did the same thing, and they were basically, it was shown that there is discrimination against Turks, which I think no one was surprised to learn about that.
Exactly.
Tell me, why is Germany so racist against Turkish people? I know there's a lot of Turkish immigrants to Germany, but like it just makes no sense to me. We don't really have like, I feel like, anti-Turkish racism in the U.S., but like why is it so bad in Germany?
Turks are the biggest minority in Germany. That's why they're racist towards them. I don't think
Yeah,
there is
so
any other reason besides like Islamophobia, and Turks are like they're not as Muslim as some countries tend to be. Like they're not Saudi Arabia or something. Like
more
Turkey,
secular, right?
Turkey is a secular country. You can see Turkish people if you go to Turkey. There you can find alcohol there, so it's not.
They
It's
also
not like Saudi Arabia. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Like
Turkey
you still
wanted to be more like France.
you can still hear mosques, like the muezzins they're singing and everything, but it's not like Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ataturk, when they were founding the Turkish Republic, he wanted it to be a secular state, and like the image of France, where they're free from religion and not
Yeah,
like free. Yeah,
I mean, I took the class that deals EU-Turkey relationships, so we dwelt into a little bit of Turkish history. So they did that, but then they discriminated against everyone who wasn't a Turkish Hanafi Sunni Muslim. So Kurds were also inside the Turkey. They would discriminate against Alevi, that's like heterodox Muslim minority they're not Sunnis exactly. So they were also discriminated in the Turkey, and so on. Also,
It's like
Turkey. If you look at Turkey today, everyone is all like you have Kurds and you have Turks. But if you look Turkey, even after Armenian genocide, there was a bunch of minorities, and they were all Turkified. Nationalism, and everyone's a Turk.
Was it like the Young Turk era?
yeah.
Oh, after
Oh,
so camp when
Oh yeah, the Young Turks are the ones who did the genocide.
and after them World War II ends. Turkey loses a bunch of territory. Ataturk says no. Then they conquer a bit of what they were supposed to lose under the treaty that was signed. They signed another treaty, and that is territory of modern Turkey. And then you have a bunch of people coming in, like even before, like if you know, I don't know how to say it in English. Tsirasia. It's in Northern Caucasus. A bunch of people came from there because Russians were killing them there. So you had a really big minorities in Turkey. A lot of people from Balkans, Muslims and Turks from Balkans were kicked out by the new countries, Greece, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia. So they all
moved. Ethnic cleansing.
I mean, Turkey participated in this. They signed the contracts with Greece, where they
trade Christians and Muslim populations.
They just swapped the population. With Yugoslavia, they also signed a treaty, and first Yugoslavia was, second one as well, but first one was really racist against Albanians. So they were kicking out Albanians alongside the Turks, even though Turkish state didn't want Albanians who didn't speak Turkish. So it's a bunch, but we're here to talk renting and Germany. So I think that Germany, they just hate Turks because they're the biggest and the biggest minority. Like if you go to Germany, in any big city, you can hear Turkish being spoken almost anywhere.
Okay. Why is there so much Turkish immigration to Germany?
Germany is like the biggest economy in Europe.
They're to work because they didn't have workers in the 60s, 70s. Nice. And originally they were supposed to be there only for few days, only for a few years, and then they would go back, so-called Gastarbeiter, guest workers. But then they stayed, and that's it. That's the modern Turkey.
It is history.
Oh yeah, there's another interesting parts of that study. There's a handful of cities where researchers found Black and Hispanic names actually received more responses than the white renters.
Really?
Yeah, so Jacksonville, 31% more Black, 31%, and Jacksonville got more Black responses than white than Columbus, 29% for Black people, for Black names. Then Phoenix, 42.6% Hispanic. Sacramento, 23.6 Hispanic, and Tampa, 26.4 Hispanic for Hispanic names.
Jacksonville makes zero sense to me. I mean, I want to shit in Jacksonville, but I was with a family down there, and that's like the most Confederate flying city I've been to.
Yeah, apparently they prefer having Black renters over white ones.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's so weird.
Maybe it's a different part of the city because it's the whole metro area.
Yeah. I mean, so Jacksonville actually has the largest metro area in the contiguous United States.
Okay, that makes sense.
Still, it's weird. I'm trying to think of a good reason why. I don't know. I mean, honestly, white people are just fucking crazy in Florida.
That's true.
So, I think that's the reason.
Well, in Phoenix, there's just more Hispanics there.
Yeah.
Everyone's racist as fuck against Mexicans, though.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised Hispanics get more responses than white people.
Yeah, that's surprising.
By a lot, too. 42.6%.
Yeah, even Columbus is interesting.
It's possible that the large Black and Hispanic population in these cities make it difficult to discriminate without losing out on good renters.
Yeah, I mean, maybe do you think there are a lot of landlords who are Hispanic and are renting them to people who are Hispanic?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
What's the people discriminate? Are they trying to be rational, or are they just plain out racist? Like, are they
landlords?
It's a ex-person. They have a less possibility to hold a steady job, to have a good income. So I'm not going to. They have less opportunities, or are they just plain out racist?
I think that's where then I guess like the structural. That's where it becomes like structural racism, right? 'Cause, I mean, maybe this landlord knows that Black people are more likely to miss rent than like white people. And I know that's true. Maybe you're more likely to have like let's say if you're renting a whole like complex, like your white renters don't want like Black or Asian neighbors.
People actually will pay more to be around white people.
Exactly. So I mean, you can say, I mean, to a certain extent, the racism is often rational, and then it becomes like structural.
Yeah, because during the whole redlining era in the U.S., where like they made sure Black communities were segregated from white communities, and they also devalued Black homes, and so white properties would go up more and stuff as well.
I mean, like white people, it's kind of weird. Like white house owners really hate like Asian, Black, or Hispanic neighbors, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
like it's almost like Nazi, like how much they hate them.
They're just so fucking loud. Those are dirty minorities.
No, literally, that's how they talk. Like almost every white homeowner I've talked to, they'll talk about like, oh, those like smelly X group, or they have so many people over, like, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
I think
that's my
yeah.
family and my grandma's.
Yeah. I mean, even like I remember, like there's like I have a Muslim family in my neighborhood, and like there's somewhat like that's a majority white neighborhood where I grew up, and it was like common for like white people to be like, "Oh, that family is like they're plotting like terrorist attacks and stuff." Um, it's weird. It's weird.
So these people, white people, they don't have guests.
Pretty much.
No,
They really don't. They're the thing is, because the whole nuclear family in the suburbs, it really destroyed white families. So like white people are really alone.
yeah, that's a thing. I think like I think that's a thing. There's a cultural divide because like I feel like ethnic minorities in America, are more likely to have guests over and like do things, and it's like white people. They live quite. I mean, there's a reason why there's such a mental health crisis in the U.S. White people live very like alienated, like atomized lives.
Yeah, because like even if you're single and an adult, you won't have any friends in America basically because you don't like most people live in the suburbs and don't live in the city and stuff. All your friends are gonna meet from work or school, and like you just grow and like it's very hard to make friends in America.
I think that's it.
It's hard to make friends if you're adult. Let's
Yeah.
put it that.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Also, white people don't really, like they don't really go like deal with their extended family at all. They like cut people off. Like you don't really like the last time I saw my white cousins. Well, she's not even white, full white. She's half black. The last time I saw the white part of my family was like years ago.
Yeah. Same in my black family. It's like your third, fourth cousins. I don't know anyone outside of like my grandparents and my white family.
Yeah, it's really so. Like I don't know. I think it's kind of it was on purpose with like how America was founded. Since you have
So these people are going to come to Europe and they're going to meet their long lost family. Like your grandmother did this.
Yes, she did this. Yes,
but she's not going to hang out with her family in in US.
No. Here's the thing. I actually hung out with when I was growing up. I saw my grandma like every other weekend. Like she took me to the zoo and like bought me toys and shit.
Yeah, I mean, white people are delusional. There, I mean, these people. I mean, like these people. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, you live like such an isolated life, and like you don't talk to your family. Then you believe in like these mythologies about your like ancestry, your great like I don't know Irish or Italian past.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere too. I forgot fucking who said it, but the reason why socialism sort of failed too in the U.S. is because like it always takes off in like the cities, but the American like family and like white person is like atomized from like the rest of the community.
The suburbs are very counter-revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like even in the South, white people are not into family in the South, where we get these stereotypes, cousin marriage and things like that.
I might know more than I do. I'm a northeastern.
Maybe that's I don't know if they well like don't white people have like a family reunion type shit whatever every couple years where they meet up their whole family?
I mean, my white family didn't, but maybe in the South, I don't know.
Well, we did. Like my family had a family reunion. I didn't fucking go to that shit.
Okay, yeah. I think there's a bit of a class dynamics. I think I think the suburbs are like kind of petite bourgeois in nature. So like, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but I think kind of like the middle class white people are very atomized. But I think like I don't know there is much of a white working class, but you might find that more in like Appalachia or in the deep South, and I think you might find more of like a community. maybe community-oriented people.
Those people tend to find their community in the church as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like the more poor white people. But
but like the suburban whites will like tend to be atheists. I don't know. White people are weird about religion. Like they'll go to church and not believe in God. Like what the fuck? What are you doing there?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a lot of my white family.
Yeah, it's just because they have like no community and like no sense of like belonging. It's really I think that's why white supremacy is like such a huge thing still in America as well. Because like
What?
So like Jefferson like had the whole idea that every family would have like their own plot of land, they're separate from everyone. They just work the land themselves.
Yeah.
And like that became more or less morphed into like the suburban family, where like it's just you, your wife, and your kids.
Yeah, I mentioned this before, but I think it might be connected to colonialism, because when I visited Portugal and I met some Portuguese people, and they described same shit you're describing. Basically, my cousins, that's like some really distant family. While for us, cousins are like almost as your brothers and sisters. Like it's almost the same.
Yeah, I used to live with my cousins.
Yeah, it's the same how it works with like my African family. Like it's like even people who aren't your blood cousins are like your cousins. It's not like that's not a thing at all with white people. I think there definitely is an aspect of colonialism. As interesting that it's an issue in Western Europe, I definitely think definitely in settler societies, like almost like I'm not sure. Maybe this is getting into like some Sakaiism, but I feel like all like Marxian analysis kind of gets like completely stretched in the settler context, because like all white people kind of live in America around this idea of like land ownership, and it's like an extremely nuclear family, which reproduces like kind of like a hyper patriarchal society as well.
No, but the other thing is these landowners, they try to emulate aristocracy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone's a mini prince or whatever.
Lawns are like
millionaire.
Having a lawn is basically you're trying to emulate aristocracy from 19th century that had lawns.
Yeah, because they proved they didn't need to grow food there.
So basically all this land ownership is on some context emulating aristocracy.
Yeah,
aristocracy was really into family, like family inheritance, really important.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, but even with Eris, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. But I feel like even with Erica, I think so you can compare settlerism in Latin America versus in America. So in Latin America, it was very aristocratic, the land ownership. It was because it was like all was by like a few families. So like those it was really important to maintain that family order. But in the U.S., it's like in Anglo settler societies, it's like every single person is sort of entitled, almost like a birthright of owning like their own yard. So it's not like inheritance is as meaningful, I suppose, or like maintaining that order.
I wonder too if it has something to do with the family context with like French and like Spanish society when they were colonizing, because they more like interbred with like the native populations and the African populations, while the whites in like America segregated themselves off from like the rest of the community, like from the natives, the black people, and like in evident like sooner or later it's sort of when they started reaching a higher status, they were like, we don't talk to people like lower than us, and like they'd have poorer whites in their family. I'm guessing like they stopped talking to them as well, and like they just their families just got smaller and smaller.
I mean, this would be a stretch. I don't want to downplay French and Spanish colonialism, but I think, I think the English were a lot more imbued in the liberalism. It was a lot more obsessed with conquering the land. It was a lot more obsessed like the individual. Like each individual settler was supposed to be kind of guaranteed certain things that you didn't have guaranteed. Like the Spanish didn't guarantee that to every Spanish settler. So I thought that's why there was more like race mixing.
Also,
like Spanish rules,
Spain wanted to emulate the Roman Empire, So that was forced assimilation of the native populations and like cultural and like ethnic mixing as well.
Yeah. I mean, even all the empires wanted the indigenous to be part, like you just said, part of their empires. But I think the English settlers, and I guess you find this among all the settlers that matter there on the linguistic group, have a very antagonistic relationship to the indigenous of their land. But I think it's most brought out in the United States, where the genocide was almost completed.
Yeah, because they still, when they were almost done with the genocide, they proceeded to try to force, like, they would steal native kids and put them in white families and white schools to effectively destroy their cultures. The ones that survived the genocides.
Yeah, I mean, I just started learning about the Indian Termination Acts. I don't know, but like that happened in like the 60s.
Yeah, it was recent. Like,
yeah,
there's people alive who went to these types of schools and stuff who got stolen from their family.
and the whole like they were putting like wasn't it something like there's some side it's like a third of indigenous women in like the 70s got like sterilized in the United States, like the 1970s.
And these are just like shit no one talks about.
Yeah, no, you'll still have Americans who deny that like a genocide. I think it's common among Americans to say there was no genocide. That's like a common take.
It's like talking to a Turkish person.
Yeah. They'll say it was all disease.
You have the most craziest shit is, I think, Serbians. You're going to tell to Serbians there was a genocide in Srebrenica, Serbs killed a bunch of people, and they're going to tell you yes, and?
Yeah, that is the most crazy shit.
Hey, at least they own up to it.
Yeah.
No, but they don't see anything wrong with it.
Of course they don't.
Goddamn. Yeah.
Their dad is a war criminal.
I mean, there is now in Belgrade a thing where Ratko Mladic, the guy that did genocide, he got a mural in like a bougie part of town, and you have bunch of like basically hooligans that are sitting there, and if someone tries to come over and paint it over, they're going to try to beat them.
Oh,
so to stop beatings, police are guarding the mural, and no one is going to remove it.
Oh my god.
They're not. So it's a thing.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about Slavs, we can go to the next topic in Russia and Ukraine.
Alright, there, go off.
I mean, I think that this is all fucking fabricated. It's stupid. Like, they're not going to go to war. Polish nationalists are enjoying themselves really much. So they have big domestic problems at home with the first thing is that the justice system is in a big crisis. They have a big constitutional crisis that they just decided they're going to avoid. Basically, they said so under how European Union works is that you transfer part of your sovereignty to the European Union, and European Union treaties are above your national law.
Yeah.
And you had Germany for a longest time. They said, okay, we accept this, but as long as they respect European Union respects human rights, and we're fine with this. And now Poland came and said, so they're doing a purge of the judiciary, and they replaced some judge. And that judge complained, and he complained. A Polish Constitutional Court sent to the EU Court of Justice of the EU. They sent for an opinion. They wrote an opinion, and they decided they're going to ignore the opinion. Usually, how you do it is you respect the opinion of the of the European courts, of the Court of Government. And
So you say
so
EU is above national?
yeah, EU law is above national, but you have a lot of wiggle room usually to how you're going to do. So sometimes EU law is direct in regulations, but sometimes it's not so direct in directives.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, that's how EU works. And the Poles decided that that's not for them. And basically, if this was some more serious country, let's put it that way, they would basically leave EU. They would say, okay, this is not for us, we're leaving. But Polish economy is really dependent on EU economy.
Yeah.
They're not going
to Germany. Yeah.
So they have that. They have abortion. They legalized abortion. They're doing the same. Well, they're led by ideologically by the Republicans in U.S. where courts also like that court purge. They put some of the more conservative people to be judges, and they overturned. They basically the court decision made abortions more strict. Yeah. And they have an LGBT crisis where where 1/3 of Poland declared itself LGBT-free zone.
Oh, I saw that. Jesus Christ!
So you have all these problems, but the biggest problem is Russia, and what's happening on Belarus-Polish border. There are thousands of refugees crossing it, but it's nothing like what we had in 15, 16. Where you had hundreds of thousands of people.
That's okay. So Germany needs the workers. They have an aging population.
I mean, they're actually trying to deport a bunch of people. Like especially, like Denmark is already doing it. They said whoever is not. So whoever is not capable of serving in the military has to go back.
Were they saying Syria's safe now? They can leave.
Yeah, but then they complained, and the final decision is that everyone who is not of a military age has to go back. So you are going to send a bunch of women, old men, and children back, but not young girls.
Oh, the ones you want to use as workers.
Yeah, Christ.
No, but like maybe you can look at it like that, but
they don't want ISIS.
Syrian refugees in Europe.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them are studying, and they're doing fine.
So my question is, so I guess I'm trying to think, like, why, like, if Germany, Denmark, these countries, if they need like, you'd think they need migrant labor, but like, what is the rationale other than racism to be so anti-immigration?
I mean, there is no rationale.
Yeah,
I think it's also a little bit of Christian nationalism as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of secular Christian culture, Christian nationalism. But it isn't like they're so open, like, let's say, oh, we're Christians, bring in the Latin America, everyone who wants to go. They're not sitting on Mexico-US border, picking up these people and taking them to Europe because, oh, Christian nationalism, let's help fellow Christians. Like, no one is doing that.
Yeah, the Christian nationalism is just opposed to Islam.
Yeah, it's Islamophobia and it's xenophobia. People don't want foreigners.
Yeah. So it's the Euro Christian nationalism.
What you end up, you have two possibilities. You can either not let them come in, or you can let them come in, and we're going to have a bunch of right-wingers winning all over Europe.
I see. So the liberals are trying to, like, usually beat the right at their own game.
Yeah, and also the Poland, the Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, and now my country as well, Slovenia, they are really anti-immigration. and they have anti-immigration governments, and they don't want to take anyone in. But when the big push was 15, 16, these four, like Visegrad 4, they said no immigrants here.
Yeah. I guess on this topic as well, what do you think about the Ukraine-Russian escalations?
I mean, it's going to shit. Nothing good is going to come out of it.
Well, Russia was doing this shit last year, and they just went back inside the border, and by spring.
I know Ukraine was saying that they're going to invade this winter. I'm not sure why Russia would want to invade in the winter, but I honestly, I think maybe this is my fucking American exceptionalism here, but I think a key aspect here is the U.S. that could turn this into a hot situation.
I mean, NATO is trending eastward.
Yeah,
and Russia doesn't like being encircled. So in every country they could cause some trouble. They caused trouble. In Georgia, they caused trouble. Abkhazia and South Ossetia, and now they cannot join NATO because if you have two separatist armies on your territory, then you're not a valid NATO member. Same thing in Ukraine. You have Crimea problem. You cannot join NATO. So basically, Russia is coming in. They're fucking up these countries, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the most interesting thing to me here is that both Ukraine, Poland, Georgia, we want the West. West is good, the liberal democracy. Yeah. Give me that. Then they don't do it. Like Poland, right-wing conservative government.
They're like, we want all the money and the nice things, but we don't want that gay stuff.
Yeah, we don't want parliamentarism. Okay, we're going to have parliament, but it's going to be right-wing parliament and none of the no human rights, no anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're ideologically they're much closer to Putin's Russia that's conservative and so on.
Yeah, they are.
In Ukraine, haven't they completely rehabilitated all the Nazi war criminals from World War II?
So I don't know in Ukraine what happened. I know what's happening in former Yugoslavia. So basically they're saying the process, after the war, some people were just executed, some people had trials. And those people that had trials, their trials weren't up to the standard, to the legal process. So they're going around and they're rehabilitating them legally, mainly so their descendants can have some property rights.
Yeah. I heard the same things happening in the Baltic states like Lithuania.
Lithuania have a fucking Nazi day for the SS members.
Yeah. Because all the families the rich families that are there prior to World War II all came back, and they're all Nazis. All those families.
A lot of people came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had money from living in the West and everything was in crisis. Cheap, now it's time to bring back their Nazi shit.
No, bunch of people that were supportive. I know in Yugoslavia, you had a big diaspora going on of Chetniks and Ustashis, especially in Argentine and the US, UK, Australia, South Africa, Canada as well, and Germany too. And they supported independence, break up Yugoslavia. And after the war, you didn't have a big decrease of those populations in all those countries. So some people
stayed.
might have come back, but those are individuals.
Well, when I was growing up in the 90s, I met a bunch of people from former Eastern Bloc countries and the Soviet Union.
Yeah, but those are
Yeah.
the collapse happened and they ran away. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about hardcore nationalists that supported the breakup of Yugoslavia.
Yeah,
You
they
didn't.
also the same thing with Ukraine in the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I guess Ukraine also had a migration in US that supported the breakup.
There's
Yeah,
a
because
ton
they
of
brought
Ukrainian Nazis in Canada.
yeah, and there. Oh, fun fact: the U.S. when they were done using the Nazis in the 50s, they were just sending them to Canada. The ones from Europe.
What are you talking about? Canada's socialist.
Yes, definitely.
No, I read yesterday.
What are you gonna say?
I read yesterday about internment camps in Canada. They had the same thing as US.
They ended later. They ended in with Japanese internment camps.
Japanese.
Yeah. Well, they had the you know about this, but they had the indigenous residential schools that ended in the fucking 90s. And they found almost 1,000 buried kids. I think they've only looked at like 2% of those schools or something.
I mean, Canada has a bunch of problems, and I don't know why people are so obsessed with Canada.
They need to stop. They need to stop sending their fucking Nazis to America. I'm tired of all these right-wing fucking talking heads on YouTube and like TV from Canada spewing their free market bullshit and racism.
Is Jordan Peterson free?
Was he what?
Free market.
I don't know,
So.
but he's one of the racist pricks from Canada.
Yeah, but I don't know if he speaks if he talks about economics.
I actually have listened. He is free market. I think he doesn't focus as much on it, but he said pretty much his thing is that like he says that like capitalism is like natural and like the human biology or something, and that you always have super rich, and that gives like motivation to the poor to strive to be the rich or something, and that like he says that like rich people earned what they earned or whatever.
Is he on meth or something? Because that's not how things work at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he is a drug addict, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Canada, you have all the pipeline shit, being built through indigenous land and the tar sands.
We're fucking mad at Biden for canceling the Keystone Pipeline.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and people are like, we're out of jobs now, but fuck you. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Also, all the mining corporations that are from Canada. I mean, I think Canada's kind of like Alaska, because Alaska, they give you like a UBI, right, in Alaska for all like, the oil money.
Yeah,
so I mean, in Canada, you have a bit of a welfare state, but it's like built on like all these super like resource intensive like corporations.
Yeah, then they go and extract shit from Africa.
Exactly. No one talks about Canadian imperialism.
Yeah, because Canada's just America's top hat.
Yeah.
Canada's just fucking the U.S. You know, it's a fucking U.S. client state. There, I said it.
No, I think it's even worse than the U.S. It is both a U.S. client state and also its own like imperialist entity.
Yeah, it still does its own fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean like just the mining corporation shit.
But like the Canadian, I don't know.
Any idea that Canada wants to be like, I don't know, separated from the U.S. is bullshit. It literally is like the U.S. continued.
It is.
Just a different treatment of their white domestic population than in the U.S.
I mean, I think you have Quebec, and that's really different approach to living than the rest of U.S. and Canada.
Quebec in what way?
I mean, they are different in their approach. They speak a different language than the rest of you all. And so,
New Orleans speaks French as well, mostly.
yeah, but it's not like minority speaks French. It's not a. It's not state language. It's not the language of the public.
I think even in Quebec, though, I mean, it is a language of the public in Quebec, but I think it's like only. I think it's like pretty split, like 50-50 on what people speak in their household.
No, majority speak French still.
The majority speak French. I know that. Well, let's look. Let me look. 1 second. But also in the U.S., we have like Spanish. It's not really recognized as like a language of any state. But like a lot of U.S.
I think New Mexico recognizes English and Spanish.
Yeah, but you're still. Do you have laws written in New Mexico?
Yeah.
In Spanish, and you can go to court in Spanish and do everything in Spanish.
Yeah, I think I have to double check. I'm pretty sure in New Mexico the official languages are Spanish and English.
I mean, there is an official language, and then there is a legal language.
I was wrong. Like, it's not an official language.
There are different steps of what you can have.
Yeah, but a majority of the people in New Mexico speak Spanish.
Okay, so let me look. So it gets like weird. So I think like everyone in Quebec like speaks French pretty much, but it's like in different cities, like in Montreal, for example, it's like only 50% of Montrealians, only speak French, and there's like 13% only speaks English, and then like the rest of people kind of speak both. I mean, it's like obvious, but it's like a bit like I think you can go to Montreal and like speak English and be kind of okay.
No, but they still have the laws in Quebec as you have to speak French. Your business name of your business has to be in French. The on the work has to be French, and so on.
No, you're right.
Then in Canada's like national level too, you have to speak. Everything has to be in French as well.
Yeah, I think it's a bit elitist. But I think I've heard that, like, I think in Canada you have to be a bit more educated than in America to be, like, a government official.
Yeah, because you have to know both French and English.
Yeah.
And to be EU government official, you need to have English, French, and plus another language. And that's, like, minimum. People know a bunch of languages. And if you go to, like, Luxembourg or Switzerland, they're knowing 3 languages is a minimum.
I doubt most Americans in Congress speak more. I doubt it's like over 70. I think over 75% of U.S. Congress people only speak English.
I mean, that's elected politicians. We are talking bureaucrats here. But yeah.
Even bureaucrats in America, I'd still probably say it's over 75%.
Also, I think Americans are they're going to pretty early claim on that they speak X language, even when they are really beginner level.
Yeah.
Can't trust
EU,
them.
There is a scale from 1A,
B1.
Yeah. So when you ask someone to speak X language, they're going to tell you that, and then you're going to know how much they speak.
Yeah. My French and Spanish is both shit.
I only know my colors in Spanish, so rojo.
So you didn't pick up any Spanish during your work hours?
I only learned enough Spanish to know if they're talking shit about me.
Good time. Sorry, that was uncalled for. I wanted to mention too the Ukraine, Europe, the Ukraine-Russia thing. I feel like the Nord Stream 2 pipeline was also a contentious issue in the whole thing.
So Nordic Stream, there was a Southern Stream as well, but it got cancelled. It was supposed to via Black Sea to Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, wherever. I don't know. I may be wrong on the but Bulgaria, Serbia for sure. Maybe Macedonia even. North Macedonia. Yeah. And it got cancelled.
Really good. Well, they almost canceled the Nord Stream too. Right?
Nord Stream, like the Greens in Germany, I'm not following it especially. They really want to cancel the environmental party in Germany.
Yeah.
So they're now in the new government, and I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. From what I've heard, I think a lot of the speculation, but I've heard the U.S. really wants to cancel as well. I've heard Germany is a lot more open with the new administration than previously.
For what? For the Nord Stream or what?
For Nord Stream, yeah. I think the U.S. wants to cancel because the U.S. wants to be the main exporter of oil and gas.
Merkel's government wanted it. Merkel's government was
Yeah. I was saying Merkel's government supported it. But I'm saying the new German administration might support it less.
Yeah, they do support it less, especially the Greens.
Yeah.
But you have FDP, the Liberal Party. They're really free trade, and so they're going to support it more, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of this might be a rumor. But I think there's stuff about the U.S. saying they would want to cut Russia from SWIFT if Russia does anything in Ukraine. Yeah,
but the thing going now is prices of electricity in Europe skyrocketed. I don't know if you know.
It'd be suicide, right? To cut it off.
No. Right now, prices of energy skyrocketed across EU because there was a bad year regarding wind. So not a lot of wind blew. Yeah. Not a lot of electricity got produced, and Russia cut the gas, and the price of electricity skyrocketed.
Yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah.
And this is all related to the Nord Stream. They're saying, if you don't support Nord Stream, this is what's going to happen to you.
Exactly, yeah. It will be interesting to see what comes out of it.
I don't think anyone's going to war anytime soon.
No.
I hope. I will say, it definitely feels like eerie. I feel like brinkmanship, whether it's on the Russia
World War. We got
World Revolutions. So yeah, I agree. Wars. We need to reject war, but yeah. In World War I, the communists rejected the war. In World War II, I guess they kind of got warred on at the end of the war.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a world war because of Ukraine.
No one gives a shit about Ukraine.
Hey, no one gave a shit about Serbia, right?
Until they shot actually, Russia gave a shit about Serbia.
That's true, yeah.
If you... I think Bismarck... before World War I, Europe was relatively peaceful. They were all doing imperialism, so they didn't have to kill each other.
Yeah.
But Bismarck basically said the war is going to start probably over something in the Balkans. So they knew this is a problematic part of Europe.
Well, Austria didn't really have any
They had a
overseas
colony.
territories.
They had Bosnia. Bosnia was governed as a territory before.
No, I mean like in Africa, like Asia.
So Bosnia under Austro-Hungary was basically they continued what the Turks were doing until then.
Basically, their colony.
Yeah. They had a local government that did nothing. Like Puerto Rico today. No, Puerto Rico today has some form of self-government. They didn't even have that, so...
It was a colony. Alright, well, any other thoughts for the podcast?
Sucks to rent.
It really does suck
fucking
to rent.
rent.
We need to do something about those pesky landlords, I guess. Rent's too goddamn high.
Right. If you call yourself a serious social democrat in any country on this planet and you're not advocating for universal housing, you can go fuck off.
We need to follow Berlin steps and nationalize all of the big companies.
Didn't thousands of people die in LA this year from being homeless?
Yeah.
Fucking tragedy.
They didn't nationalize it yet, but they wanted it.
I think I think Ilhan Omar is no hero, but I think she brought universal housing, right?
Someone did. I know it was one of the new congresswomen who mentioned it.
Yeah, I think it was her, but still, it's such a fringe take in the U.S.
Yeah, because they're like, it's funny because everyone hates homeless people, but no one wants to do anything about it.
Yeah, like I was saying, like Americans literally have like Nazi-esque pathologies. Like the way they talk about homeless people is like genocidal.
Yeah, no, like even in the most liberal cities where they're supposed to be all, stereotypical, like human rights and stuff, they're like, fucking hate these homeless people.
They literally want them just like disappeared. Like they have no solution for them.
I mean,
they'll fucking deport them to other cities and states.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
But the people who are pro-homeless people, they also want the homeless people to disappear. They want to get them homes.
exactly that.
Exactly.
But like that's literally like a fringe like socialist take in the US.
Just house everyone.
Like I think universal housing is on the left side of the DSA.
It's funny because there's fucking more houses than there are people that are homeless.
Exactly.
Yeah, but some countries solve the homelessness even under capitalism without universal housing. So
it's like who?
Like rent controls.
Japan, I think even. Japan, Finland. Like in Scandinavia, if you're homeless, you're going to die.
Doesn't Finland have like yeah, they're giving people housing, aren't they, in Finland?
They're giving people housing. I know my friends, they went to study, and you get subsidy from government to rent.
Yeah, they just get welfare to like. So the U.S. does that too, but you have to prove. You basically have to prove you can't work. You have like some sort of disability, and they'll give you money for housing.
No,
even then, public housing sucks.
Their disability is that they are studying.
No, it's not like So you can like the thing is though there's the public housing or whatever the U.S. does, but you can actually get money where the government will pay your rent for you if you have like a certain if you can't work, they'll pay your rent for you. It's called SSI.
Really? Was it Social
Yeah.
Security?
Yeah, it's their social security.
But it's still shit. I mean, so my mom, we weren't super close, but my mom is pretty disabled, so she's in that situation. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she's still broke. Like,
Yeah, because like
it
the thing is too, if you
sucks,
make too much money, you fucking lose all your benefits.
exactly, yeah. So she like can't do any work because of like the benefit system. But it's like you just have enough for like. She lives in like a shit house, a shit
Yeah,
apartment,
yeah,
and
because
then
like
like can like barely besides buying food.
yeah, because they give you like barely enough to pay for your rent.
Yeah.
Also, Utah gives out housing to chronically homeless people as well.
Mormons did something right.
Yep. So yeah, it's cheaper to actually just house people than them to be homeless.
It is, it would solve so many issues in America.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking give people housing.
Like, oh,
crime. Because a lot
how
of
are you
people
going?
get.
Are you
What?
going to destroy the neighborhoods? Let's go there. Are you going to destroy the ethnic neighborhoods or no?
Yes.
I mean,
We're
like,
gonna forcibly desegregate every neighborhood in America.
because most of the ethnic neighborhoods were like intentionally segregated.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah,
for that very reason. Like,
I mean, they really aren't like. I feel like neighborhoods aren't like. I mean, they're pretty much like white neighborhoods. Like, it's pretty much just the redlining. I mean, like there aren't like a lot of like Asian neighborhoods in my opinion. I mean, obviously you have Chinatowns, but they're a small aspect of America. I mean, you have white
it's
neighborhoods.
literally it's white neighborhoods and minority neighborhoods because all the minority neighborhoods all mix with blacks, Hispanics, Asians.
Yeah, they're pretty mixed usually. And white neighborhoods, you have like richer people from the different demographics in them.
The ones that they can tolerate.
Yeah,
The good ones.
exactly. And even then, they face so much racism.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even like I grew up in like a white neighborhood, and it's fucking weird. I mean, I got pulled over by the police a few times just like walking around, and like I feel like everyone looks like at you like you're gonna like rob their house or something.
Yeah, and you go to a fucking like you go to a store and like employees are watching you and like following you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, like my mom was always like, "Take your hood off." But the scariest shit, this like people get shot for this by police. But I mean, it was like if you're like locked out of your house at night and you're like trying to get inside, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah, it
is
looks
like
like you're
random shit. Exactly. I mean, it's the scariest shit being black.
Yeah, when I was working in retail, the one security guard lady, she'd be like, "Hey, can you watch these people that are in the asylum?" Like, I looked over there, and it was like 4 black women. I was like, I think she's fucking targeting these black people. That's like, because the next couple times it was always black women she'd point out. I was like, I think she's racist, but she wasn't white. She was Navajo.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, even people of color, anti-black. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a thing at Winnie Park as well. Just targeting people, racial profile. I mean, honestly, I think like white people usually just got off easy on different things. Like they only targeted like people who they're Hispanic.
White people can get away with fucking anything, pretty much.
Yeah.
They'll walk in, shoplift like 8 things, and no one will notice.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? Get off your chest?
I mean, that's about all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can keep ranting about social democrats, but that's about everything.
That's about everything. Fucking capitalists.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a houseless crisis, a homelessness crisis. We have everyone's wages have been cut due to inflation, and these social democrats in the U.S. and abroad, mostly in the U.S., have completely dropped universal health care. Don't even mention universal housing. Are completely dropped even like raising wages. It's pathetic, and we need a
They're like-
stronger
It's funny because
progressive movement in the United States.
the worst part is that people blame inflation for why we can't have these programs. There's fucking inflation either way.
Exactly.
Money isn't real.
Yep.
Well, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. You can... Oh, if you actually made it this far, I forgot to plug in, you can meet us on the Discord. It's linked in the description. I should have mentioned it earlier. Oh well. Bye.
Yeah, radicalized grandma.
Yeah.